Hi, I'm Jennifer Vatsa. Welcome to my channel. I am here tonight with Ben and Alora from Goetic Impressions. Welcome.
Hi.
Hello.
We'd like to tell us a little bit about both of you and what you do and Goetic Impressions.
Oh, me?
All right, I guess I'll start then. So we started Goetic Impressions in 2019 with a Kickstarter, and our initial concept was doing the sigil lamans for the Lesser Key of Solomon, as they're described in the Lesser Key of Solomon, for all 72 of them, because I had been looking for them for years. And I could not find a place that had done them the way they are described in the actual text, with the pentacle of Solomon on the back and the seal of the entity on the front. And I was very not happy with that. So I was like, you know what? I actually know how to do this. Let me throw out a Kickstarter, see if there's enough other interested people. We can pull some money together and actually get this done and get this out there for everyone. And that's kind of where we started. And
we have grown a lot from there. A lot of projects coming.
I feel that. Yes, because you're also local. I'm in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, so you guys are over in Central Jersey. Because I remember you guys did the Philly Pagan Pride in 2019 as well.
Yeah, we were just starting out. That was actually one of our very first vending events.
Yeah, it was pretty early for me too, in that when I was just kind of like transitioning from doing straight, just kind of therapeutic aromatherapy kind of stuff into the more witchier things.
It was a really fun day. The only thing the only negative thing was it was very dusty.
Oh my gosh, I remember all the dust everywhere.
Clark Park is like the Dust Bowl. Yeah, doing outdoor events. I learned that because one of the first outdoor events I had done was in the Woodland Cemetery, which is close to Clark Park in West Philly. And I used to have these really pretty, like open face, like they had a little window for my soaps.
Yeah.
That changed after that event. Because you could pick them up, people could see what they smelled like, and it was a very windy, pollen-filled spring day, and I was like, wow, I now have to wash all my soaps and I had to redo several of them and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, we're going with shrink wrap. Because I was trying to be all like eco-friendly and stuff, using like the craft paper cardboard ones and stuff. But yeah, it's doing vending events, you learn a lot along the way.
When you get to the point where you got to wash your soap, you
yeah, that was a life lesson. But yeah, so what the purpose of the interview is, we are working on a collaborative project together, working on kind of demon boxes, demon collections and stuff like that, for where we overlap sort of in the general sort of satanic Luciferian sort of thing. And also with, you guys do some stuff in that realm along with the Goetic stuff as well. So we started working on, you guys are providing the candles and the medallions, which are absolutely gorgeous. And I have some of them with me. I'm sure you have some too.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
I mean, we got this one here that I guess we got
our within reach. We have a Lilith.
I have an Asmodee. And these are so, like, I've always, because the quality of them is so amazing. I mean, they've got a nice weight to them. I mean, the size, because a lot of times when you look at, sort of the online kind of different occult shops and stuff that have different sigils, or what's the other thing? I don't know. But the different symbols, like, the six pentacles of this, that, or the other thing. And they're just, they're like $10, and they're just, crappy, mass produced kind of things. Or you find stuff like, I mean, I have from the Talismancer, a couple of the pieces, or they're really expensive because they're really, high end. So it's nice to see something that is affordable.
Yeah, we were trying to hit that spot. Yeah, we were trying to hit that spot in the middle where you don't have to pay hundreds of dollars for it, but it still looks and feels really good. You know, we want it to, it needs to feel powerful and magical and be able to hold that energy. Otherwise, what's the point? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So these are all a brass alloy, and then we try and plate them with metals according to planetary attributions and whatnot. It's not always possible because, you know, lead, mercury. Yeah. But when we can, we like to, you know, we like to do silver plating or gold plating or, you know, copper, depending on the various spirits, elements, attributes, and etc. But
yeah, I mean, that's like the little details that you put into things like that that really kind of like give it, it's not just, you know, a little pewter thing.
Yeah, it's real metal. We try and do, we do a lot of research with them too. We try and, like the colors that we make the things out of, we try and tie into the attributes for the various spirits. Whether it's, you know, red for Mars or you know, like for the Goetic spirits in particular, we did the colors based on the ranks of the spirits, and then tied the rank to the planetary attribution. So dukes were green for Venus, kings were yellow for the sun, and then we broke down the colors even further with individual colors for the individual spirits based on records from people who had worked with them, various other things. And it's a lot of research, but you can tell when you hold them that, you know, it's actually a real connection to what you're actually trying to work with. So
yeah, I mean, I do similar things for when I'm making, like, I'll look up all the other botanical correspondences and crystals and, you know, all the different types of things that can go into, like, if I'm making an incense or perfume or things like that, that you could have this variety. And, you know, some there just is not a lot of information, or else it's all just very obscure things that are hard to find. And like, I know in a lot of the research I did on the Goetic spirits, it was like, okay, you guys have to have some, like, everyone was like frankincense, myrrh, and oud. Everyone, all of y'all agreed on this?
Yeah, there's, I mean, like for the Goetic ones, there's definitely some broad similarities across all the categories, but once you get into like the nitty gritty of the systems, and there's a lot of contradictory information out there too about the Goetic stuff, which makes it a lot harder. But once you actually start like working the system and working with the individual spirits, you get a lot better sense for what is accurate and what is inaccurate information. And, you know, just working with the spirit, you tend to get a sense of, it likes the smell, it doesn't like the smell, it likes this offering, it doesn't like that offering, that sort of thing. So, you know, from the outside looking in, it's really hard, but once you start actually doing it, it really opens up. So,
like, this pleases me.
More or less, actually.
Yeah, it's funny, you know. It's yeah, because it's sort of like with some of them, like when I was working, the ones I found the most challenging was, I think, like Abaddon. Like there was just like nothing as far as correspondences for Abaddon. So a lot of times when I'm doing things, I'm like, okay, they might not be direct correspondences for this particular entity, but well, okay, let's see what this entity is like. What are they about? You know, is it an underworld thing? Is it a death and destruction? Is it like a sexuality or something like that? Then you can kind of, you know, enhance it with some of that as well.
Yeah, I mean, Abaddon in particular is a really tricky one because when we were researching Abaddon, we actually haven't done anything for Abaddon yet, but we were exploring doing a medallion for Abaddon. And there's a bunch of different seals attributed to him at different times. There's a bunch of different spellings for the name attributed different times. And there's a bunch of different attributes. And it almost looks like there's two different spirits with a similar name.
Yeah, because sometimes Abaddon or Apollyon.
Yeah,
I've seen some of that. All I know is Abaddon gets so much hate on my video I did. Like, all the angry comments on my Abaddon video. Not any of the ones on Satan or Lucifer or anything like that. Like, I don't know what it is about Abaddon, but like all the angry Christians coming are like, you know, you must be saved. I'm like,
Yeah, we get our share of that too.
It's par for the course.
Yeah. what can you do?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this has been a really, I've really enjoyed kind of working, as I've been working with different entities and stuff, bringing in and, learning more about them and incorporating these things. Cause like there aren't, a lot of products out there, or else, you kind of have to know who exactly to go to get specific ones. It's kind of like, okay, well, I can tell you maybe 2 places to get an Abaddon kit.
Yeah, if you have a good relationship with your local botanicas, maybe you can find something in like a back corner somewhere. But
yeah, it's but yeah, but they're all online, and like you're not going to find that in the cult shop anywhere.
No, especially not the mainstream ones that mostly cater to the tourists.
Yeah. But yeah, it's very interesting, with that, and that we have all these different, we kind of come together, and there's a lot of knowledge sharing. It's kind of like, oh, like I'll have one person has one kind of experience and things, and we kind of compare notes and all of that, because again, it's sometimes it's kind of like, I think it was when I was working with Azazel, I was kind of like, this is a weird combination of things that just don't really make, like aren't going to make really great smelling things. So it's like, sometimes I'm like, so what do you like? Well, I like poppy flowers. Okay. And apparently cinnamon donuts, but
Who doesn't?
A little bit like, what are your, like, how do you work with the different, I would say spirits or entities? Sometimes people get into arguments about that, demons, daemons, angels,
Yeah, I like to use the word entity because it's pretty broad, and it could be describing almost anything.
It's inclusive.
Yeah, I don't like to get into the nitty gritty of spirit, thought form, demon, this, that, because so many people approach it in so many different ways. But I have like 2 main go-to ways that I work with spirits. The first is a full Goetic evocation, almost by the book. I have kind of my own little techniques that I've kind of worked in there. So I'm not using the big threatening evocation, I'll call down the fires of God upon you, blah, blah, blah.
Manifest in this triangle now.
Yeah, it's a little more gentle than that, but at the same time, it follows that same kind of ritual structure. I use most of our own stuff that we produce here, and that we sell through Goetic Impressions during my evocation. So I've worked with everything that we sell basically, and that's a fairly effective way to work with one of those more traditional Goetic spirits. You can also work with local spirits using that formula, like say you have, I don't know, a poltergeist, or bumps in the house at night, or something like that. Something specific to the house or to the road you live on, or the woods in the back of your house, or something like that.
Spirits of the land.
Yeah, things that happen around you that aren't necessarily as big or important as the primary Goetic spirits. Like that Goetic formula is very effective at working with those spirits as well. I found.
Interesting.
And then the other method I use is based on Trithemius's crystal invocation method, where you take a crystal ball, or a piece of quartz, and you invoke a spirit into the crystal. I know Rufus Opus has done quite a bit of work with like expanding that system, but you can go back to Trithemius's original notes on that, and it's really quite easy, that ritual structure.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because one of the things that I'm including with the collaborations, similar kind of thing, is I'm using the radionics boxes to charge the different crystals with sort of like the energetics of that spirit. So for Asmodeus, I'm using fire agate.
Yeah.
So I was looking into like what crystals and minerals and things that are associated with each of them. Paimon was a little tricky because it just said gold. I'm like, okay, include gold bricks. So I ended up finding some kind of like gold aura obsidian or something. Or
gold obsidian. I'm a big fan of that stone, actually.
Yeah, so that's the one I picked for Paimon. I was like, well, it's gold. It's not gold, but it's gold. But yeah, so like I've been starting to experiment a little bit more with using the radionics box, kind of to take that intention or energy of one thing and put it into something else. So that's kind of one of the things I'm including with this that kind of, makes it a little special and stuff, because I've got my products in there. I've got the, let's see, what do we have? The flying ointments. They vary a little bit per entity, because like some of them I have different things for, like Lucifer and Lilith I also have bath salt ones for, but I don't for like, I feel like a Beelzebub bath salt blend. And I have the ritual oils, which would go really nice with like the candles, which also for your candles in addition to the medallion. Get it out without, you wrapped it so nice that I'm like trying to get it out without breaking it. Yes, the sigil candles. I'm gonna try to put that back together later.
Yeah, I realized that was probably a difficult puzzle.
And the Asmodeus loose incense blend. I love, because I took a class in how to make incense, and I literally just stopped at loose incense. I'm like, no, cone and stick incense doesn't exist anymore. It's just like you get such a more, like the smoke you get from it. Like I took a picture, I posted, I'm like, I couldn't believe it, but like the entirety of Belial's sigil manifested in the smoke. That's not awesome. An easy sigil to like just randomly have manifest. Maybe it was a little squiggle thing. I'm like, okay, whatever, but that's pretty ornate.
Yeah, and it's a more traditional way to use the incense as well. If you're approaching it from trying to be as ritually or historically accurate to the ritual as possible. It's a more pure form, shall we say.
Yeah, and I also have the Lord of Lust perfume oil blend. I made a random collection of infernal perfumes because, of course, I did.
Why not?
And of course, we also, as I showed earlier, we have the medallions from Goetic Impressions as well. Yes. So, what ones did we? So we have Asmodeus or Asmodee, Baal, Satan, Azazel, Lucifer and Lilith, and King Paimon and Belial coming soon.
Yeah. That sounds like all of them, I'm pretty sure.
Now, if we could just get the postal service working, that would be awesome.
Yeah. That's
like really, it takes 2 weeks to get something across the state lines.
I mean, I know there was a snowstorm in there too, but I don't know.
I don't know anymore with the post office. I'm just like,
we're doing our best.
Yeah.
We're doing our part.
Yeah, it's been a thing.
Yeah.
The bane of many a small business owner's existence. And if you don't, you buy anything online, which I'm sure no one's buying anything online, being stuck at home for an entire year.
Who does that?
Crazy people.
If you're ordering off Amazon, you're still getting everything because they have their own delivery service, basically.
Yeah, even though sometimes it can be a little iffy, but
yeah.
Like I'll go to order something that's Prime and it's like, okay, well, it's gonna be here in a week, but then it'll show up in the normal amount of time. I'm like, that was weird.
Yeah, I'm not. I think some of it's through like third-party sellers and stuff, so it ends up being hit or miss. But
yeah, FedEx and UPS had some delays because of the weather recently, but
not like USPS. The USPS has been a thing. It's been a thing.
We've had month-long delays just in our own state. It's
from
a couple towns over. It's still like still not there. Like I could have walked it over to you.
We've shipped stuff to California and it delivered perfectly, and then had stuff going in, half an hour away.
That's in that PA, New Jersey, like the distribution centers and stuff.
It must be something like that.
Because it's like without fail, there's like certain things that just like something will get to Florida in 3 days, but to New Jersey in a month.
Yeah, it's something here. It's regional, but I don't know.
Your
Yeah.
packages are still on the way. You're coming. Trust us.
we you know, we're not sitting on mountains of orders because we like to live in our houses too and not be filled with like thousands of boxes.
Oh.
We would rather you have it, honestly.
Truth. Those are some hashtag facts. Oh, so I wanted to ask, I know you guys are also collaborating with Orly Stewart as well. So I've seen some of the videos that she's done and stuff. So I don't know if you wanted to talk about that a little bit as well, but
I don't know how much we can talk about,
of course,
the things that aren't public knowledge yet, but she's been really great. We sent her some stuff for some of our past Kickstarters, and just, you know, a gift box with a couple just random things that we thought she would like. And she helped promote our last Kickstarter, which we hit all our stretch goals on. So that was a big help in getting the word out there.
I think we got a cool thing to show too. So we hit our last stretch goal was actually the Archangel Selenite charging plate that we're really, really excited about.
Love
so
it.
definitely was a fun one.
So
always trying to add like new things.
Yeah, I hear you on the new things. I have an infinite list of new things. And then people are like, hey, have you thought about making this? I'm like, I'll add it to the list.
We have about 5 years of projects that we have to get done.
Yeah, I'm surprised I got through as many as I did. And well, I mean, did have a little extra free time in 2020, so you know that helped. But yeah, it's always having, you know, different, you know, people ask for different things. Like I think the Infernal perfume line, someone liked the ritual oil I did and wanted a perfume version of it. And I was like, hey, you know, this probably would actually sell. So rather than doing like a one-off custom item, you know, I was kind of like, all right, here you go.
Yeah, that's how we feel a lot of times too. A lot of people come to us with custom medallion ideas, but if it's something that's we feel that other people are going to want, we're like, hold on, doing a one-of is just going to be incredibly expensive.
Yeah.
Just wait a few months and we're going to roll out a whole thing where you can get it at a reasonable cost. So, you know, like we're always taking suggestions and, all right, what is the next thing that we want to do? Like we have like a priority list, and the priority list like jumps around depending on like, you know, how much feedback we get from other things. Like, all right, a lot of people are wanting, you know, like Lilith medallions. That was like one of the big things too.
Yeah.
I'm like, the entire satanic Kickstarter that we had was revolved around the Lilith medallion. So we're like, what else can we throw in here? So,
yeah. It's so funny because it's like on my channel, like most of my videos, you know, kind of like, you know, eke around, you know, 200-300 views, something like that. The Lilith video is just about to hit like 5,000 views. Like, it's not that great of a video, but all right.
There's
just a lot of, especially that dark goddess energy kind of coming out. So that's been really like intense lately. So a lot more people are kind of awakening to that and whatnot.
She has a very wide following.
Apparently. Yeah, I was just so surprised when I was like, so I was looking the other night because I had at my YouTube stats, and so I'm like, oh, it's almost up to 5,000. Interesting. So just to kind of, you know, wrap up a little bit, but thank you so much for joining me on my channel. I'm really looking forward to the collaborations, and I'm going to be rolling them out. Probably within the, you know, just gradually within like the, from when I post the video, there might be some launched already. I know Asmodeus is already live, live and in the flesh, if you know what I mean. But yeah, so I mean, this has been great. I really have enjoyed working with you both, and I look forward to, you know, continuing to collaborate. And I really hope that this project is successful. And because I mean, there's a lot of need for this, because people are like, oh, you know, you should do a collection thing. And I also realized that like I kind of want to make everything myself, but then I'm like, I hate making candles.
Yeah.
I'd be like, no, I'm not making candles anymore. Like, let's find someone else who does that. And I like, the sigil things. I'm not a jeweler, so, or have that kind of skill set to do that. So, and crystals, well, those come from the earth. So I can't claim to, have made them, but I charge them on the radionics box. So,
we all have our own particular skill set. So
yes. And it's always, as business owners, I'm sure or makers too, it's having to relinquish a little bit of that like artistic control is a thing. It's like, but I want to do everything myself.
Yeah, definitely.
But I also need to clean the house and feed myself and, sleep.
There's not enough hours in the day.
Yeah, it's
at some point.
I would love to, like, ship things off to a man. At some point I will have to do that with some of my like higher quantity selling things, because right now you can't see in the background, like I've got vats of bath salts everywhere and I've run out of vats. So now I have to pack all of that. I ran out like all of them on one weekend.
Half of our house is a warehouse now, so.
Oh yeah. It was like, I'm like, yay, tomorrow is trash and recycling day. I can get rid of all of this week's boxes. Which means I now have to unpack most of this week's boxes. Bulk supplies. Awesome.
Yeah.
Especially when they all show up on the same day.
Yeah, it's a little overwhelming.
I can't get in or out of my house.
That happened to me one day.
Or you go out, you come back, you're like, well, my porch is entirely filled with boxes. Great.
Yeah, I had that. I definitely had that for one of the Kickstarters.
Someone drop off a pallet in the driveway.
Yeah. The struggle is real. But, hopefully someday we will all have massive warehouses and manufacturing facilities, and, we can sit on the island in Tahiti and drinking fancy pants cocktails and whatnot and being like,
here's hoping.
Definitely. I could use a vacation, that is for sure.
Yep.
Anywhere, literally anywhere.
I think we all could after this last year, so.
I get excited, if I get to leave like Philadelphia. I'm like, I'm gonna drive up to the Target on City Line Avenue because I can see on the way there. Yeah, I'm tired of looking at row homes. Tired of that so very much. Cool. But anyways, I just went out of focus. There we go. Anyways, so thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to click like and subscribe. I'll have links to all your stuff below, your social media, website, all that. And have a good one, everyone. Bye.